All right, hello, Honors Western Civ students. We're between periods in the hockey game. It's 5-5, so I thought I'd do a little bit of that work I promised you I'd get done. Hopefully I can get this online in a timely fashion. I'm also trying to do it in one take, so I may make mistakes and have to re-word myself. All right, well anyways, here's some things to help you further prepare for the exam. We're here on the front page of the website, and in class we went over the essay question in a lot of detail. We also then went through each of the primary documents, and I don't think I need to repeat that information. If you think that you missed something or you're confused about something, just send me an email specifically, and I'll be able to help you out with any of these things. What I'd like to do is just talk a little bit more about where you could go with the various questions, and then I'll take a look at the green sheets. Especially in the second period, I don't think I got through the entire green sheet in the review. All right. I think you understand all the structure of the essay question. You take one of these essay starters here from this area, and then you apply that question to one of the units from each of the categories. Now, I would say that the easiest ones, I suppose if you wanted to say that, would be the first question and the last question. I think they're the most readily understandable. So the relationship between the rulers and the ruled is a theme that we've been hitting all the way since first semester. And I think that's fairly obvious about where you could go with that in each of these time periods. As well, the last question, the role and nature of revolution in Western civilization, that one is probably even more obvious. So you have English Civil War would be one thing you could talk about. Obviously the French Revolution, and then the Russian Revolution, if you're talking about political revolutions. If you were going to talk about maybe intellectual revolutions, then the Enlightenment, maybe some of the things in econisms, maybe even some of the ideas wrapped in the French Revolution and the Industrial Revolution. So many areas here, very rich here for that question. And then some of the ideas in the Russian Revolution, Marxism carried over. Maybe you could talk about Woodrow Wilson's 14 points as being part of that intellectual revolution, maybe the war to end all wars concept. So these two questions, again, the first one and the last one, I think are the most obvious of them. Let's look at the second and the third. The second one, let me give you some page numbers in the text that you can use, particularly for the first unit, which is obviously the earliest unit and maybe the one that is less jumps to the front of your mind as far as what is going on with these things. The roles of faith and reason in Western Civ. For this first unit, that's here, this Enlightenment unit. So I'm just kind of shortcutting it. You can find this by going to second semester units and hitting on Age of Enlightenment here. You see that. All right, and then you can click on this thing here, but I've got it up in another window. So here are the readings. Let me just show you here, these terms here in this middle column here, these are all great places to go for this question of faith and reason, and then even over here to Philosophes, Voltaire, Deism, the Encyclopédie, or the Encyclopedia as I hear in English, edited by Denis Diderot would be a great place to go. So you can look that up in your textbook there, because what they were seeking to do here obviously was to come to a new knowledge using all the new scientific tools that were being developed by all of these guys here, to come to the most perfect knowledge of the world. And of course they're going to do this apart from the Bible, apart from scriptures, apart from the traditions of the church. They believe that they have tools like telescopes and microscopes and complex math equations that can maybe take the place of all of those previous authorities, scriptural authorities, and then even pagan authorities like Plato and Aristotle and all those Greek and Roman philosophers and mathematicians. They can build on that, because one of the interesting ideas is that in the Enlightenment, they really start to, I guess you could say, kill some sacred cows, because it was believed that the ancients or the thinkers of the classical age had pretty much come up with everything there was to know. And one of the revolutions of the Enlightenment is that not only do they not have the corner on everything there was to know, that they were even wrong and they need to be corrected. Well, let's look at some page numbers here. You see some textbook pages here that we've read as assignments, but I want to give you something a little bit additional. So if you see here, our first reading was 348 to 353. There's lots of great information here. Again, for that second question, that question about faith and reason. And you just scroll through or page through, you see Copernicus and Kepler over the page to 350, Galileo and his discoveries, and then of course his battles with the church, Isaac Newton on 351, and then way down on 351, nature as mechanism. This is really important, because this starts this idea of deism, this idea that God is not maybe the God that had been understood by the people in the Middle Ages, that maybe God is, well, he was called the watchmaker. Deism believes in a God that made the universe, set it spinning in motion, or wound it up like a clock, and then just kind of set it going, and the world goes according to its own laws that are discoverable by scientists, laws that are knowable by human beings, absolutely, and that of course changes the relationship between humans and the Creator. The mystery, in many ways, has been reduced. Think to that Boxman sketch earlier in the year during that Worldview Units. Francis Bacon, René Descartes, and especially on 353, René Descartes and his philosophical advancements and his idea of, I think therefore I am, and he digs down to the bedrock of what he can be sure of, that cogito ergo sum. And look there on page 353 of your text, like how important God is in his understanding of what true knowledge is. Then you could skip ahead. Now, this was not an assigned reading, but you could use this if you wanted to use the big essay. All right, the case of Galileo on 361, and then Blaise Pascal, Reason and Faith. I mean, that says it all. That little heading there. Come to think of it, it's probably something that I should have had you read, but I didn't. So next year maybe. And then over the page 362, the English approach to science and reason. So you'll be able to use some of that information there. So Blaise Pascal, as you can see, is right here in the middle of your terms. I don't know how much we talked about him in class, but there he is nonetheless.